Welcome back to my channel. I'm Lena and today I'm going to talk about how we house hack with Airbnb. On this channel I talk about problems that are often unique to moms and some of the solutions that I have found for them. So if you find any of this information useful, do me a huge favor, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. That would mean a lot to me. And with that, let's get right into the video. This video will have 4 parts. The first part will be about the setup of our house and how our house hack logistically works. The next part will be about all the startup work that it took to get to this place. Then I will talk about what we do on an ongoing basis to keep this side hustle up and running. And lastly, I'm going to talk about the nitty-gritty numbers of how this all pans out. So first, I'm going to talk about the layout and the setup of how this all works. Last spring we bought a house and the square footage is 1466. It came with 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. One of those was a full bathroom with a tub and the other one was in the master suite and it had a full-sized shower. This property is on a ½ acre and it has a detached garage in the back. So there's 3 bedrooms over here, then we have the living room and the main bathroom, kitchen, and then on the other side is the laundry room and the master suite here. So we turned the master suite over here into a mother-in-law suite with an outside entrance. So the mother-in-law suite has no inside access to our house. In our Airbnb / mother-in-law suite, we have a main bedroom that has a bed and a dresser and a TV and stuff. And then in that room, there's a closet, which we put a mini fridge in, a microwave, coffee pot, hot pot, and stuff like that. And then it also has a bathroom with a full-size shower in there. And this has only an exterior entrance, which is super handy because we walled off the other wall. The Airbnb has no kitchen, but it does have enough to make some oatmeal or have a cup of coffee. So basic sort of things, and you can store food in the fridge. This leaves 3 generous sized bedrooms for us, a full bathroom, and the kitchen, laundry room, and living room. Also, the whole backyard is for us and it's not available to our guests. Next up, I'm going to talk about what it took to get this Airbnb up and running. Before we were even shopping for this house, I was thinking of the idea if a house was set up correctly that we could do this kind of Airbnb, because I didn't really want someone in my private space having access to my children. So I wanted to do an Airbnb that had no entrance to our personal house. So I was thinking if we bought a house that we could convert part of it into a mother-in-law sort of suite, then they could be totally private from us. They wouldn't be in our business. So while we were looking for a house, we were thinking about this exact thing the whole time. So we were looking for something that would easily adapt to this and easily have a space where our guests could easily access the entrance to the house without having to go through gates or go behind the back of the house or something like that. So we found this house, and as the Airbnb door is just right on the side of the house because that master suite is right up front. And so it's easy to access, you can see it from the road, and there's nice parking for our guests. And most importantly, we qualified for a loan big enough to buy this house. So I'm not going to go into all of the prices of what exactly it cost us to start the Airbnb because honestly I do not know and I almost don't want to know, but I'm just going to give you a quick list of some of the things that had to happen for that to work out. Maybe in a later video I can break down some of the costs of what it took to get the Airbnb up and running. But right now, I honestly do not know what it took, and I am a little bit frightened of what it actually took to get it up and running, but that's a conversation for another time. So I just wanted to tell you about some of the things that we had to do to alter the house to make this work. So my father-in-law was awesome, and he did a lot of the skilled labor and renovations. So he punched an outside door for the Airbnb. He put in a new bathroom door, he put in new closet door, he put in all the trim in the Airbnb because there was no trim whatsoever. He rewired the electrical so we could have an outside light that was right next to the door. We are so grateful for that help, and we couldn't have done it without him. And I'm sure I'm missing some of the things that he did, but that's all that I can think of for now. Okay, some of the things that we did after he did that first initial huge push is that we refinished the tub ourselves with multiple of those kits. And I wouldn't necessarily recommend this, which involves leaving your house because it's so noxious. So we couldn't sleep at our house while we were finishing the tub. That was special. But at least it was summertime. My husband is very handy, so we did the rest of the work ourselves. We replaced the toilet in the bathroom. We replaced the floor in the bathroom. And then when my husband was taking up the floor, the subfloor was moldy. So then he replaced the subfloor, and then there was no insulation under there. So then we put more insulation under there. We also replaced the bathroom fan, which also doubles as a heat lamp. We also painted, well, I did all the painting. We painted the main room, we painted the bathroom, we installed all the trim and painted all the trim. I spent 10 hours one day painting trim, and I still wasn't done. We painted all the doors. We painted the outside of the house, only the front half that you can see in the photos. I still need to paint the back side of the house. But at least it looks good in photos. We furnished the space, and I did get a lot of deals, and I got a lot of stuff off Facebook Marketplace, so I actually did that pretty much under budget. And maybe in a later video I can talk about how to get awesome deals on Facebook Marketplace. But we had to get a mattress, a bed frame, a dresser, a TV, a fridge, a coffee pot, a microwave, all these things. So we're shopping for all of those things. After we had done a ton of work, we realized that there was no insulation between the wall between the Airbnb and our house. So you could hear people whistling, you could hear people's exact words, and we had to do something about that. So we got a new project, yay! We busted out the wall that is between the Airbnb and our living room, the back of the Airbnb closet and our laundry room, and then the bathroom and the laundry room. We busted out all of those walls, all the way floor to ceiling, and then we put in rock wall insulation, and then we re-sheetrocked, retextured, primered our side. So we did this all from our side, so to cut down on that noise. That was a ginormous project and something we never attempted before. For some reason I thought my husband had put up sheetrock before, but then we are at the spot where we literally need to apply the sheetrock to the wall, and he's like, I've never done this before. So of course I went on YouTube and we figured it out. Okay, after working nights and weekends for a couple months, we finally got the Airbnb into a place where we were almost ready to accept guests. But that is not the end of the work because we have ongoing work. So now I'm going to talk about what it takes to run the Airbnb on the regular. The main thing we do regularly is clean the Airbnb. So during the week, the cleaning normally goes to me, and then on the weekends we can tag team or my husband cleans it because I'm just done with my week. So we probably end up cleaning the Airbnb about 3 times per week. I was kind of looking at our calendar on Airbnb and I was like, yeah, we're probably cleaning about 3 times per week. So because the Airbnb does not have a kitchen, it takes about an hour to clean the Airbnb and reset it from start to finish. This also means that I have to be available to clean it. So this is something to definitely think about if you're thinking about starting an Airbnb, because the cleaning would normally happen between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. because people normally check out at 11 and then the next person might check in at 3. Which means you kind of need a flexible schedule to make that work for your life. I am definitely fortunate to have the flexibility to know that I'm going to be around during those times and I would be able to accomplish that task. Okay, the other thing we got to do is restock and buy things. So we're noticing what we are missing. So I'm noticing how many the people used, and then I'm restocking with those. And then we have to, of course, go out and buy those things. We communicate with our guests over Airbnb, and that also takes time. So my husband has mostly taken on that task because he can kind of do it from work, and so he's our main communicator. Okay, another thing to think about is what are you going to do when you're on a trip? So you can just block out the dates and not take anybody during those, but that also takes some planning to know when you're going to be out of town exactly. And if you decide to have someone else clean it, then you also have to train them. And I am super particular about how I want it to be and how clean I want it to be and exactly what I want it to look like. So giving up that control is definitely hard, and also finding people that are willing and have the same attention to detail as I do. Okay, let's talk numbers now. What I'm going to be telling you is simplified. There are a lot of details that I'm not quite covering, but I'm going to do my best to keep this streamlined. Okay, I kind of already touched on this, but I was talking about investment startup costs. The Airbnb was an investment for us, and it was not free to start. We spent some of our first profits reinvesting into the business because we realized we needed more blankets. We realized we needed more pillows. So sort of things that are not going to be repeat costs, but they were associated with the Airbnb and starting it up. The other thing I'm not talking about is taxes. So I don't actually know what the taxes are going to look like. We did save money for those, and we've carefully kept track of all of our expenses. I'm hoping some of those will be tax deductible. So this is the simple version of the money. I didn't count any of the startup costs in my analysis. But I did count the refills. Reoccurring expenses for the last 4 months was $134. And this includes things like cleaning supplies, tea, coffee, toilet paper, shampoo, that sort of thing. In total, in 2020, we made $6,061 from Airbnb. We started at the end of August, so I'm not counting August in my calculations, so I subtracted $317, which is what we made in August, so that I could get a real picture of what our monthly expenses were. So if you subtract the refills and the money from August from our total, and then you divide it by the 4 months, that averages out to $1,402 for each month. We were running the Airbnb in 2020. Now that we know that we're making approximately $1,400 a month from Airbnb, I'm going to talk about our housing costs. So what does it cost to live in this house? So the mortgage on this house is $1,611, and the power bill averages $260 a month. We are all on 1 meter, so this includes the power for heating our house or cooling our house and the Airbnb. So if you subtract what the Airbnb is making us each month from our total housing costs to live here, the total is $469. So it costs us less than $500 to live in this house, which is amazing to me. I know it might be a more flashy video if I said that we lived here for $0, and maybe that will happen next year. I'm really excited to see, but this is the reality of what our house hack looks for us. So just for curiosity's sake, I went back and I looked at our budget in 2015 because, you know, we're total geeks and we still have them. We were living in a 1-bedroom, 400 square foot apartment. I was going to college full time and my husband was working. The rent for our apartment was $520 a month, and we paid $40 a month for power. That would bring our housing costs to $560. So when we were living there, it was costing us more money than it costs us to live in our house on the 1/4 acre now. I often see a lot of people house hacking in duplexes, where they buy a duplex and then they long-term rent out half of it. So I thought this could be an interesting video to make because it's a house hack where we're getting most of our living costs covered, but it is not in a duplex. My plan for this Airbnb was pre-2020, but it has really turned out great because people are looking for contactless entry, and we have a little keypad so they can just let themselves in. They're looking for a totally private space with no shared spaces, and it's a very affordable place to stay. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way through. It means so much to me. Do me a huge favor, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any videos that I post in the future, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.